Guys, I can't be the only one who cares about this. I can't be the only one who lays in bed at night thinking about the constant character recasts in Resident Evil games, and how much it bothers me how little Capcom cares about continuity, about legacy, and about performance, because they don't give a flying Capcom, what are you doing with your characters? Resident Evil 4 is full of iconic characters, from Krauser to Salazar to Sadler, Ada, and of course, my boy Leon. And the reason why these characters became beloved is because of the performances. And it probably won't bother the masses, but if you're here and if you clicked on this video, maybe you care like how I do. Because with Resident Evil 2 Remake, when they recasted Leon, they got rid of Matt Mercer. Despite Matt Mercer wanting to come back, he of course didn't, because Capcom keeps going the cheapest route possible for the English voiceover. And you might be wondering, well, how do you know this? It's because the old voice actress of Claire Redfield, Allison Court, she actually did an interview with a YouTube channel called Residents of Evil, where she talked about this whole process. She talked about how a new company in the US took over for the localization, and they fired everyone. They brought in all of their friends who lived nearby in California, instead of spending the money where it was necessary to bring all the old voice actors in. That's why Roger Craig Smith, Matt Mercer, Allison Court, every single character in the Resident Evil history has been recast since Resident Evil 7 came out. As you know, it started with Chris Redfield at the end of Resident Evil 7, where not only did they change his voice, but they changed his entire look and his entire personality. It was supposed to be Chris Redfield DLC, and I felt like I was playing as generic soldier guy because nothing about him was Chris. Whenever Resident Evil 8 came out, they recasted Chris again, proving even more how little Capcom cares about this. But it doesn't end there, because today, of course, I want to talk about Resident Evil 4. I gotta get Ada out of the way. Her voice, I don't know what they were thinking. With Resident Evil 2 Remake, while I was definitely heartbroken that they recasted Ada because she, I think, stuck around the longest out of them all, the new voice actress in Resident Evil 2 was like, damn, so good. Her name escapes me, but she knocked it out of the park. Everything about her, her mystique, her smooth voice, it was just perfect. It was like Ada to a T, and I just applauded it. But then with this game, they recasted Ada again. And no offense to her, but her voice is not Ada at all. She sounds way too old. It just doesn't match her look one bit. Sorry, I hit the mic. And while playing through this game, I didn't even feel like I was talking to Ada. That's how rough it was.
Maybe you'll live to meet me again.
Assuming you haven't, I've got a tip for you.
And I'm trying not to offend the actress here, just in case she ever watches this, but it just wasn't good. Like, the performance itself, I did not think was very good with Ada. Was it abysmal? No, but it definitely, for one, didn't match Ada, but I also think, in general, the performance just wasn't that great. And that really bothers me, because, of course, Ada has the same voice actress in the Japan version, because they care there, but they handed off the localization to someone else, new probably this time, and they casted someone else. And it bothers me because these characters are iconic because of the actors. Resident Evil, more than almost any other franchise, has iconic characters. Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Claire Redfield, Leon Kennedy, all of these characters very well known, and more, including these villains in Resident Evil 4. All of them are beloved, and why is that? It's because of the performance. Yes, the character designs are cool, the scenarios they're put in is cool, but what's the reason why everyone loves these characters? It has to do with the writing and performance. And unfortunately, that's where I thought Resident Evil 4 failed, is in the actors that they chose to play these roles, and of course in the designs when it comes to a character like Salazar. What were they thinking with Salazar's design? They should have kept his hat on, first off, and he looks like a grandma. Just a very creepy grandma. And the voice actor, while Salazar's voice actor was okay, I feel like he didn't fully capture the more crazy side of Salazar with his scary laugh and all that stuff. And then Krauser. Love the design of Krauser, but the voice. He's more like this, and he talks like this, when he should be talking like this. They said I died in a crash 3 years ago. Is that what they told you? This just sounds kind of weird. Yeah. Sounds like he's kind of whispering the whole time. Just didn't do it for me. Did not like it. But the two that bother me the most, I'll be honest, is Ada, of course, the 60-year-old voice in a 30-year-old's body, or however old Ada is in Resident Evil 4. Her voice sounds way older than the character model. And of course, Leon. Leon being recasted in Resident Evil 2 Remake bothered me quite a bit because I loved Matt Mercer's voice. He took over for Paul Mercier from Resident Evil 4, but I felt like he really captured a bit more mature and gruff Leon. It sounded really similar to Paul Mercier, but with just a little more gruff to it. I loved it.
You're not getting off that easy. Back for more?
It was great in Resident Evil 6 and in the animated movies. And then with Resident Evil 2, they recasted Leon because, of course, everything I explained, and he just doesn't have it. And it was a bit more acceptable in Resident Evil 2 because that was a different Leon than what we saw in Resident Evil 4. But in Resident Evil 4, Leon has so much personality to his voice. He's cracking jokes, he's flirting with girls, he's constantly saying funny things to the villains like, "Your right hand comes off?"
Your right hand comes off?
And of course, no thanks, bro. And let's not forget the iconic, "I knew you'd be fine if you landed on your butt." Yes, I've played Resident Evil 4 way too much, and this is why this opinion is totally biased. Just want to get it out there. Totally biased for Resident Evil 4, so I'm extra passionate. But I'm also talking about the entire series in this video because Capcom just continues to recast its characters. Iconic characters. Like, what if Han Solo was recasted in the second Star Wars movie? Like, that's how I feel watching these characters. Maybe not, okay, maybe they're not as big of a deal as Han Solo, but that's what I'm getting at. What if Nathan Drake was recasted in Uncharted 3? And it wasn't Nolan North? Would that not bother anyone else? Because it would definitely bother me because he nailed that role. He brought the character to life. It's almost Naughty Dog's duty to continue with Nolan North. That's how I feel with Capcom. Some of them are just rough. Like, I do not like Krauser's voice. Leon, I'm not the biggest fan of. Some of it's okay. Like, the most Leon thing in Resident Evil 4 Remake was whenever Leon ran up the wall and did a backflip to avoid chainsaws that were above his head. That was Resident Evil 4 to me, and it wasn't in the original. And I applauded that. Like, that was amazing. But yeah, with characters like Luis, Sarah, and Ada, Leon, Krauser, Salazar, I thought most of them missed the mark when it came to the voices. It also bothered me with Final Fantasy VII Remake. The original voice actors of those characters from the film and from some spin-offs, they were supposed to come back for the remake, and they actually did for the trailers for Remake. And then one day they were told, yeah, they're not bringing you guys back. They're going to recast everyone for no reason. Oh, and then we're going to remake Crisis Core, and we're going to replace all the old voice actors and put in our new ones who are all from like frickin' CW TV shows. Like, it's as if people care about that. It really bothers me, again, that Capcom just doesn't see the significance and the importance of performance. They don't care. Like, these actors brought these characters to life, and then they abandon them, and they don't bring them back. If I'm being honest, I don't really have a connection to any of these characters anymore because they don't seem like the same people. Like, my Chris Redfield is Roger Craig Smith. Yes, someone played him before Roger Craig Smith, but they stuck with him for a while. They stuck with a lot of actors for a while. Matt Mercer, Allison Court, Ada, but then they just ended up replacing everyone. And since they started replacing everyone, not only did they do that, but now it's almost like with every single release, someone is being recasted. Like Chris Redfield, like Ada, and it's annoying. I understand if it's like certain things like scheduling, or if the person's like a really crappy person in real life. Oh yeah, and speaking of that, that just reminded me of that. Wesker's voice in RE4, it doesn't even, like, nothing about it is Wesker. And I won't spoil that, like, I won't play a clip because that's kind of spoilery, but Wesker's voice really let me down in this game as well. He's barely in it, but I assume if they're remaking 5, they're gonna bring over that same voice actor, so yeah, guys, I've been wanting to get this off my chest for a while, and then someone commented yesterday, actually, or maybe the day before, saying, you should rant about this. And I'm like, you know what? I'd need to, because I talk about it all the time on my podcast, Spot Dodge, you should check it out, and it just really gets to me. It eats at me, because I like continuity, I like legacy, I like when people stick around for the roles that they helped create, that they're the reason why people love these characters, and then the corporation's just like, their performance doesn't really matter. We can just bring someone else in for way cheaper, so let's just do that. That really bothers me. So let me know if you agree down in the comment section below. There's a possibility that no one cares at all, but be sure to let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down. I will talk to you guys later. See ya.